like everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance at this point in time. Usually I have the youngest lead us. Everybody's kind of a little bit more elderly, so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I didn't mean elderly, I mean mature in your 20s or on. Usually we have a kid for the Boy Scouts do it. So with that, I'm officially calling this meeting to order. Clerk, if you could do the roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Turnbull.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Or here.
Councilmember Janetti.
Here.
Councilmember Krenz.
Here. Great. We have a quorum. One person is gone on good behavior on vacation, I think. So yeah, unexcused.
No,
No, he is excused from us. Yeah. We had unexcused or excused. He is
Excused.
always excused from us. He's gone through a lot these days. So with that, we will go to approval of the agenda, but I think we have a change in that before I go forward.
We'd like
Is there
to
a change?
remove 9B and no future date, just removing it from the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, 9B. So then that would be, C would go to B and D would go to C on that. Any other changes on the new business?
And just to clarify, we would be amending it, amending that item off the agenda to postpone it indefinitely.
Which that's the way Robert's rules says we could bring it back anytime in the future as we look at it. We appreciate all your work, Justin, in bringing that to our attention. We will see what we can do in the future. I know we had a meeting with Plymouth today. They have 3 people on their BZA and, most on our side is about 7 on planning commission. We appreciate all the research you did. We will get to that eventually. Thank you again. We didn't mean to say that wasn't the right thing.
This isn't a time for comment,
Yep.
but just to clarify, since the city of Plymouth has 9 people on their planning commission.
I know.
Okay, just
Yep,
saying.
they do. And 3 on their BZA. They are looking at the other 2. So with that, great. Is there anything to add or delete from our agenda other than that one? If not, I'm looking for approval to go forward with the agenda.
To approve the agenda as amended.
Great. Do we have support for that?
Support?
Okay, we have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I think we all can do this. Say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Good, we have an agenda. Let's go on to public comment. Anything that's not on the agenda tonight, this would be the time. So we have the transfer of ownership for liquor license. If you have comments on that will be on the agenda. I will open it up. Seeing we just took B off, if you had any opinion on the planning commission or the BZA, you could come up in this time because we took that off the regular agenda.
BZA was not part of
Right.
discussion.
But in general, if you had any discussion on any of the 27 boards, you could come up at this time. Consideration first reading for the zoning for air conditioning and condensers and generators. If you're here to talk about that, I will open it up on that point. So if it's anything other than those, this would be the time. Full name and address. And again, we're meeting in accordance with the governor's policies for Open Meetings Act. So full name and address, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Matthew Wilk, 17245 Cameron Drive. I'm a resident of the township, not the city, but I love the wonderful work you guys are doing. We have an item that is coming forth for consideration for voters in Northville Township and Northville City about SMART and a transit tax. 1995 and prior, townships and cities were given the opportunity to opt out of a transit system that they do not largely use. That in lame duck, legislation was passed to take that right away. Now there will be on the ballot in 2026 consideration to add us to the SMART system, which is a substantial new tax. On behalf of the Northville Republicans Club, the Plymouth Canton Republicans Club, and Livonia Republicans Club, we're holding an event on it. It's called Not Smart. A new transit tax is coming. How do we stop it? This is not strictly, however, a partisan issue. 2 of the leading voices against this in lame duck were Livonia Mayor Brosnan and Canton Township Supervisor Anne-Marie Hudak, who are both Democrats. Some of the things to keep in mind, the reasons we in Northville Township and you in Northville City will not have the right to select the location of your routes. That was Supervisor Hudak's big issue and Livonia Mayor's big issue, that they had an idea of where they thought it would be a good place to go, and SMART told them no. Additionally, because of the way Northville is laid out, and I'm going to be speaking in front of Plymouth very shortly, there's no guarantee that this will actually touch the city. There are, when this goes into Oakland County, there are communities that are 15 and 20 miles away from the bus stop. They're forced to pay taxes for this as well. 3 questions will be answered. Number 1, what kind of usage does this thing get? Number 2, what kind of subsidy does this thing get and should it continue? And number 3, how big of a pension gap are we going to be asked to assume liability for? So the event is not smart at eventbrite.com. I'll leave a couple of these flyers out here in case anyone wants to come. And we're doing that on May the 5th.
Thank you very much, May 5th. Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Anything that's not on the agenda? Before I open it up for those online. Going once, going twice. Okay, I'm closing off public comment in council chambers. Do we have any hand raisers out there right now?
You have no hand raisers at this time, Mr.
And how
Mayor?
many people are online?
You have, looks like 5 viewers at this point.
Okay, boy, that's a very unusual thing for.
And just as a
Everybody
point of
wants to be in
reference, last week we had 51 views already. So
Yeah, and everybody's catching up to the 6:30. It used to be 7. So by 7, we usually start going wild, but hopefully we'll educate them more and more in our city news. Right?
Why?
It's not done on purpose. Good. So I don't see any on public comment for those things not on. It's going once, going twice. I'm closing off public comment for things not on the agenda. Great. So, and by the way, did we get any additional correspondence today? You know, that's not in our packages?
We did not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Roby, correct?
Yep.
Just one
Yep.
from John
Yep.
Roby.
And we got that in our package. So, yep. So you didn't have anything after that one. Okay, thank you. So from there, let's go to number 5, consideration of the consent agenda. And we have, and usually we don't read it, but these are so straightforward. We're going to talk about minutes on here, the bills report, the Bobcat block party, you know, up there at Amerman, Veterans Banner Program, appointment of sustainability team as a team. Be careful what you wish for. You wanted to really be a team, and we're going to look at that. Now we are approving that, your additional person. Consideration of the flower sale, consideration of the Orin block party, a lot of block parties that have an easier time than I did. Consideration of Art House lease renewal, consideration of resolution approving a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for $200,000 for walk spaces, consideration of red carpet or some carpet up there at Allen Terrace. We're always there for you. And consideration of approving the glass downstairs in our door, which we've been waiting for about a year to get that repaired. Thank you very much for $5,300. And consideration of the Mill Pond Court culvert replacement, which I understand has collapsed. So we're going to give that to the county at the end. Good, great to do it. So that is what's on the agenda, just so you know. Usually there's pages and pages, there's one page. So, and that's online, you can see all those things. So I'm looking for approval for what's on the consent agenda. Do I have approval for that?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
We have a motion. Do we have support for that motion?
I'll support.
Super. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Great. We have a consent agenda. Okay, we're whipping through this. I think most of you are not first timers in here. So presentations is next. We don't have any tonight. Public hearings, we don't have any of those. We finished all our business, number 8. So we're all the way to number 9, new business. So the first one, 9A, is consideration to approve the request for the transfer of ownership of a Class C and specially designated merchant liquor license. And there was a meeting before. Chief, why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Prior to this meeting, the LLRC, local LRC met to discuss the transfer of ownership of the Class C license and SDM license from the old Root and Rose, which is Toria, on East Michigan Avenue, to the new business, which is Villa Norte LLC, doing business as Villa Norte Restaurant. The applicant is not here this evening, but his attorney is Chris Tower, and he'll be here to answer any questions you may have. Chris is representing the applicant through this whole process. They are also asking for the addition of an outdoor service area permit as well as a social district permit. So this is pretty straightforward. Villa Norte is going to do business as a full-service sit-down Mexican restaurant. The restaurant is located on the first floor of the Old Toria at 115 East Main Street. Villa Note has purchased the existing business assets of Toria and is currently under contract to purchase the liquor license. The restaurant plans to do minor cosmetic renovations to redo the interior to match that of a Mexican restaurant concept. The interior of the restaurant will have seating for approximately 40. The outdoor seating area will have seating for approximately 25 patrons. The proposed hours of operation will be 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. We talked earlier, that's kind of a standard application process.
Right.
It may not be the hours per se, but then to prevent having to come back in front of the LRC, they'll get approved those hours and adjust them accordingly. The food to alcohol sales ratio is anticipated to be 80% food and 20% alcohol. Alcoholic beverages will include beer, wine, liquor, and mixed drinks. There'll also be many non-alcoholic drink options as well. The restaurant does not intend to have live music or amplified music or dancing. We spoke about our new entertainment permit process, and due to them not having that, the permit will not be required. Villa Note is owned by the applicant Jose Villarreal. Jose does not currently own any liquor license, but previously owned an interest in Mexican Fiesta, a liquor licensed Mexican restaurant in Canton Township. The applicant and his family have worked in the restaurant industry for over 20 years, bringing that experience here to Northville. It should be noted that during the 22 period in which the applicant had owned Mexican Fiesta, they did receive 3 MLCC violations for the sale of alcohol to minors, the last one being over 16 years ago in 2009. It should be noted that in the packet, there was a written statement from the applicant indicated he is committed to ensuring his staff members serving alcohol are properly trained. And also there's a 0 tolerance policy for serving any minors or intoxicated persons. And those persons who do will face termination. Being that back to 2009 and through the background investigation of the applicant, I didn't find anything that would cause alarm or raise any concerns to have this application move forward. As I mentioned earlier, there was a public hearing conducted by the City of Northville LLRC, and the LLRC recommends that City Council not object to the request by the applicant to approve the transfer of the license and also add the requested permits. And I'll call up Mr. Tower to answer any questions.
And just before you do, anything to add, Councilperson Frensinger on that committee on the LLRC?
Nothing remarkable was brought up. We discussed those 3 minor violations. The chief expressed no concern over that. Seems like containment measures were put in place. There's been no violations since, 16 years?
16 years.
So LLRC, I think if Mr. Petrus agrees, is in full support.
Jim, is there anything that you'd like to add to that? Okay, thank you very much, Jim.
No, thank you.
Who's also on the committee, Jim Petrus. It's all yours now. Thank you for being here tonight.
Absolutely. Good evening, council. My name is Chris Tower. I'm with the firm Axonede, Allen and Rentrop. I do want to say that Jose really wishes he could be here tonight. He was really ready to kind of get in front of you guys and talk about his new opportunity and everything, but he had a medical procedure this morning, so we wanted to keep things rolling. So here I am.
Absolutely.
On his behalf. I can't, speak to the fantastic Mexican food that will be prepared, but hope to enjoy some soon. The chief has been great to work with throughout this entire process. I really appreciate it. Said everything that I kind of wanted to point out. We've applied with the state for a conditional liquor license, so that is just kind of a faster transfer process. We're looking to open hopefully by the end of May. The MLCC application, it is deemed complete. They have to get us a decision on that application by May 12th. So we're doing this in front of City Northville here and hoping to get state approval shortly after. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
2 quick questions. One,
Yes, sir.
you'll be changing the Victorian atmosphere pretty quickly, I would imagine, to a Mexican atmosphere.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, we're just doing minor
change,
cosmetic
great.
changes in there.
Great equipment in there so you can use all that. I understand.
Exactly. Yes.
And you said no music or dancing, but after all those margaritas, I'm sure they'll be dancing on the street in front of us. I'm just kidding.
I can't comment on that.
Duly noted, presently accepted.
Yeah.
Other questions or any comments?
Excited to have you.
Absolutely.
Get it going.
And I will pass that.
Yeah.
Pass that message along.
Indeed.
Care to comment on what the translation of the name of the restaurant is?
That is Spanish for Northville, so Via Norte,
We go.
Yeah, so that is
Excellent,
very aptly named.
excellent,
So welcome.
Yeah.
indeed.
And I like hearing about the hope for, this is not too far away in terms of it opening, not holding it too late, May, but it's.
Earlier the better. Get her going.
Sooner than later. And thank you very much. And please pass on our sincere welcome.
We're hoping
Very
you'll
much.
be part of the bicentennial in 2027, a big part of that, right downtown.
Got at least through 2030 and hoping to go a lot longer than that.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Any comments from anybody in the audience today in council chambers? Going once, going twice. I'm closing off comments from council chambers. Any hand raisers online, Ken?
Negative, Mr. Mayor.
And there's 57 on now? Okay, duly noted.
You get 6.
Okay,
Six.
okay, still, it's 5 in front of that. So I'm
Then you
opening it up
increase.
one more time, going once, going twice. Okay, I'm closing off public comment on this activity. So with that, we will take a roll call vote on this one. Why don't we do that? Before I do that, is there any other questions that we have up here? So I'm looking for a motion to go forward. The motion is in your package, I believe, so.
Mayor, I move to approve the resolution approving the request by the applicant to transfer the ownership of a Class C and specialty designated merchant SDM liquor license from Root and Rose LLC to Villa Nortra LLC, doing business as Villa Nortra, located at 115 East Main Street, Northville, Michigan, 48167. And also approve the addition of a new outdoor service area and social district permit.
So we have a motion. Do we have support for that motion?
I'll support.
And another restaurateur in town. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we have motion properly supported. Any other discussion between the four of us? Boy, it's pretty simple with only 4 up here tonight. Great. With that, I know John is not here tonight again, off for good behavior in the hope that, and if you could do a roll call vote on that, please.
Sure. So Councilmember Carter is gone. Councilmember Janetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Krenz,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown,
Yes.
Mayor Turnbull.
Yes. Congratulations. You have your liquor license. Get her going there. We look forward to seeing you in town then. Great. So now we're moving up C to B. So consideration approving the first reading introduction of the amendment, and you're up here, so I don't have to go through all of it, for the zoning for the generators and all, but tell us about that, Justin.
So the planning commission over the past several months has been working on an amendment to this ordinance. Section 18.24 currently regulates air conditioning condensers and generators. Since last July, the planning commission has determined that the generator component of the ordinance needed to be updated and modernized. So as proposed, we would bring in some new regulations for portable generators, which aren't currently regulated. So the noise and the hours of operation would be set in the ordinance. Also, a standby permanent generator would have more stringent standards for the placement or location. They would require a 25-foot setback from a side property line if they are in a side yard, as opposed to the minimum side yard setback in that zoning district. The decibel level has also been modified for generators from 65 dBA to 75 dBA. Currently, we don't think that that's really achievable to get to that 65 dBA level. The other main point of this ordinance would require generator sound testing by city staff prior to inspection approval. So that would be something that would have to be taken on by the department if this ordinance amendment is passed. Planning Commission did recommend approval after a public hearing last Tuesday, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Great. Questions from council members? Go right ahead, Barbara.
So
Pro Tem.
number one, I want to commend both you and all the planning commissioners. They had a subcommittee. Tom Barry is here in the audience. He was part of that subcommittee as a planning commissioner. And basically they reacted to what they were seeing in BZA. BZA was seeing people come in for applications. The current ordinance wasn't working. There was a pattern that showed that our ordinance was not up to date. I don't recall now when was it last updated? 2005? Something like that. It's been it's an older ordinance, at least 20 years. So I want to thank you because this was a lot of work that went into this and by both the subcommittee and you, Justin. So thank you so much. This, I think we'll have to see over time. It might need to be tweaked, once you implement it. And so you have experience on the ground with the different property owners, but certainly I like what I see. I do have two questions. One, I'm very comfortable, on the face of it would say, oh, you're allowing for a higher DBA. And you say, why do you want louder? Well, it's just a practical matter is if you keep it at 65, particularly given our lot sizes in the majority of the city, it probably it would be ineffectual. You wouldn't be able to get that. But the other is I have a question, and maybe I just don't understand. This is related to the setback for side yard. What was it before? Was it just, what was the number?
The number is whatever the side setback was in that zoning district. So typically in R1B, it'd be 7 feet, or R1A, it would be
Okay, so
8 feet.
this extends that a lot.
This would be more stringent.
Now, given the size of our lots and the placement of many, the widths are not wide, and the residences are sitting generally, central, but it's really odd. Will this effectively mean that we won't be able to have them in side yard setbacks unless they have a very large lot?
Correct.
Okay. So that's one thing as an example. Once you start implementing this, it could be that 25 has to be maybe not down to 7, for example, but something more than that. But I think time can tell, so that we don't end up with an ordinance that just because of the small lot sizes that we have width-wise, that we can't do it. So that was my only observation, but I think this is a huge step in the right direction, and time will tell. And I won't be offended if you come back for an amendment, a minor amendment.
You can say, we believe you will. And again,
This is our living document, so if they need to be updated, we can do that.
and we appreciate you've been going through each and every one of these policies and procedures and ordinances, and the planning commission and working with Justin. Thank you for all your work on that. And I know we're going through just about everything. A lot of these are 20, 30, 40 years old. Things have modernized since then, and, technology and other things. So we appreciate that as we went. And the 25 feet, next to, it's not going to work on some of those little lots.
Well, that's what we'll
Yeah.
have to see how.
I know.
that
So
affects.
that will have to go to BZA.
It's meant to effectively discourage that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Is there anything else? And I'm going to have Tom come up if there's anything else.
Justin, a couple questions. Thank you to you and the team in planning, and the mayor pro tem is right. I'd say definitely a plurality of the cases that are coming into BZA are related to this matter. So I think we owe it to the residents to give more clearance. Just to give an idea to people on decibel levels, it's not intuitive because it's logarithmic, is just a little bit above normal conversation is 65 decibels. So that's not extraordinarily loud. And then 70 to 75 would be a vacuum cleaner or a washing machine. So this isn't these are not extraordinarily loud and decibel levels. And for example, a power lawnmower is 90.
Yep.
So people cut the grass twice a week, often with very loud power mowers, you have people that come through here with services that are doing it, and it can be extraordinarily loud relative to this. So I think 75 is definitely reasonable. I do have heartburn on the side yard setback. I understand it, but I'll just be on the record that I think the issue we're trying to solve here is noise level at the fence. I'm struggling, and I'll get better on this one, I'm struggling to understand why we would do such an extreme setback if the issue is noise level. It seems to me we're using the wrong metric to solve the problem. But I'm going to get smarter on that one, and I'm going to support this, but I would like to have further discussion on that. And does that also apply to air conditioners?
No,
Okay, because that was in the same language, wasn't it, in A-2?
Right, so now we've separated the requirements for air conditioners, heat pumps, and generators. So air conditioners and heat pumps have a different set of standards than generators.
Okay, I thought I saw them all together, so I just wanted to be clear. So maybe it was just
Separate, right?
my simple mind wasn't.
They're in the same section, but they have separate requirements.
Okay, so I think this is absolutely a step in the right direction, because I've talked to several planning commissioners over months on this. I think the issue we need to solve here is going to be screening for the aesthetic, and then decibel level at the boundary line. So the setback is as a requirement isn't obvious to me, other than what would be their 5 or 7 feet. Anything beyond that is not obvious to me why we would do that. If the device itself is capable of hitting the decibel level at the neighbor's yard and is fully screened by height plus 12 inches. So
I think
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and I think the point is that if a generator met the side yard setback at 7 feet, it would not meet the sound level at the side yard.
Yeah, I mean, but there's starting to be more electric generators,
Yep.
another thing that are coming. So, and natural gas is going to be pretty silent. We'll see how it goes. So I'm open to it. I think it's absolutely a step in the right direction. I support it. I think where we're going to have the most heartburn is going to be on that. So if they can demonstrate, or if a supplier of one of those generators can demonstrate that they can meet the decibel level at X number of feet away with screening, then it's going to be tough for, BZA and others, as we get through that, because the issue is sound, in my view. We're solving for sound and disruptive sound in the neighborhood. So we'll have to see how it plays out. And as I already noted, this is a living document, but it is such an extraordinary step in the right direction. We'll just have to see what it looks like in, practical world. That's it.
Anything from your standpoint, Laura?
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
I
Sure.
want to say that I fully endorse what you're saying, Councilmember Krentz, and because what you're on the front line of this. So they're coming to you with applications to install a generator. The BZA may not see it, because once they hear from you, 25-yard setback.
25 foot.
Yeah, 25, I'm sorry, not yards, 25 foot from the
No
side.
noise on that one.
25-foot setback from the side yard. They might just throw up their hands and say, oh, well, I'm discouraged, and not take that next step, which is onerous, to go to BZA. So you're really the clearinghouse to feedback from our citizens that are trying to do it at 10 feet or 5, and still meet the sound. So please be in tune to that, and you might be the one that has to, not only, normally you'd let planning commission know. This would be how many came to you and you had to say you don't meet it because of the side yard. So,
And we'll certainly track that.
okay. thank you
Especially
very
have to
much.
be within 8 feet of the house. I mean, most people are going to have a patio back there in that spot. So
Great.
we're going to have to see how this plays out.
And just,
I'm more than willing to look at it again
Right.
if we're
I agree.
not solving
and
it.
as you know, you get a lot there. For some weeks, I was getting 1 or 2 a day, because we just had, maybe it was on the same ones, but we asked for us to redo all of our policies and procedures. I think we're making steps towards it. And as Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, I think this is a step in the right direction. I will have Tom Barry come up to give us a little bit more clarity. But from my standpoint, it's noise. And I agree 100% with Councilman Krenz. We have technology. I know this is almost ironic. There are electric generators now with battery power, Tesla batteries and other things on it. So those are almost completely quiet. And the insulation and the insulation around it is more important, than anything else, in my opinion. And technology and efficiency have come a long way in 25 years. So thank you for all your research. Now we'll bring an expert up here.
Thank you,
It's all yours.
Justin.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
First of all, I love working with Justin. It was a joy to be able to work in concert with him, to kick ideas back and forth within the subcommittee, and then bring those together to the commission and to you.
Excuse me, sir, what's your name?
Tom
Name.
Barry,
Address. Well, this is a public
239
comment.
High Street.
Thank you.
It's okay.
You're welcome.
He's not on the clock. I'm giving him, go ahead.
So the thing that, to answer Councilman Krentz's question about the 75 or the 25-foot side yard setback, what we were seeing is we're seeing people that don't want it with small yards. They don't want to put it in the back because that's where their patio is. So they're forcing the issue and pushing to put it on the side yard. Side yard setbacks are difficult in many of our lots. So there's a discouragement piece there. There is, but it also helps the city in the conversation of keeping the onus on the sound level at the lot line to the installer, the contractor, and the owner of the equipment. So the goal of this, and when we researched all the other communities, they were saying still 65. One had 55 at the lot line. And as Councilman Krenz said, there's no way you could make that with current technology that are fully installed gas-fired, natural gas-fired generators. So that was kind of the reasoning where we looked at it. The other thing that when we did our research on generators, they say, like Gentech will say, our generator is certified at 65 dB. Well, yeah, but that's at 65 dB because they have no third-party standards in the industry to test them independently. So actually, they're more like 80 at the source and 65, 23 feet away. So they set the standards, and it's unfortunate because people will be coming to Justin and the city saying, yeah, I think I'll make it. We're trying to make it so that they're aware of the industry and what happens. So those were the things that we looked at when we were doing it. So, and I agree. I think that it's going to be something that might be edited over time, but it's something that we think that we wanted to balance the need and the current desire for people to put generators in. It's a fear-based world we live in now with large, we have large trees in Northville and power lines are going down. I have a cottage up north and we didn't have power for 3 weeks up there.
Got a generator, don't you?
So those things are happening more often. And so we wanted to balance something achievable. And 75 is what we picked. And we'll have to wait and see.
And for the reference, we're probably at a 55 decibel level, you and me talking right now, which is really, really quiet.
Yes.
Just so people are aware.
I can't even hear you.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you for your time.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for all your work on that.
Justin, could you comment on the enforcement mechanism here? Just make that broadly aware.
Oh.
So I think that was a good part of the, what's in here as well.
So this will require city staff to sound test generators on a property before they receive an approval of their inspection, which I think is challenging. But that was the recommendation of the planning commission. So if they fail their sound inspection, then they'll have to attenuate the sound in some way. But again, that's difficult if they've already purchased the generator and had it installed.
And is that our inspector or our ordinance person who will be going out there and doing that sound, a combination of both?
of the two.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, because one's electrical and everything else, and one is, just ordinance, so they both have their little meter with them.
And I'll just add to that, Mayor. I think that's a stroke of good governance because that's the problem we're trying to solve.
Right.
And so if you have a physical feedback loop through a device, a sound meter, I think it's really well done.
Do you have to buy a sound meter?
We'll be purchasing.
Yes.
We will,
And it's
yeah, one or two of them.
yeah.
It cost me, it was plus or minus 2%. It cost me $35.
Yes.
And you're donating it to the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Put it in the record. We
We
got
will
one.
engrave your name on it.
Thank you. Duly
Thank you.
noted. That'll be coming from the planning commission, you personally. Write it off in your taxes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Justin. Is there any public comment on this in council chambers? Going once, going twice? Okay, I'm closing off council chambers on this. Any hand raisers on this issue, this opportunity? There's 54 online now.
Not at this time, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
thank
You
you.
have, close to that.
Okay, good.
Really?
No, he's kidding. Any hand raisers?
No hand raisers at
Okay,
this time.
going
Mr. Mayor.
once, going twice. I am closing off those on Zoom or on the public media there. Good. So with that, I am looking for a motion. We will do a roll call motion on this too. We're looking for a motion that you have a sample in your package to go forward on this. And you heard the different things. Yes, in the future, we may have to don't know which way this is going to go, but we will keep looking at this. We'll keep getting better and we'll see how it works depending on where we go. So I'm looking for anything else to add from your standpoint?
Nothing for me.
Thank you. So I'm looking for that motion that's in your package. You have a sample one. Anybody care to bring that forward?
Yeah, Mayor, I move to approve the first reading of an amendment to Article 18, Section 24 of the zoning ordinance to establish updated standards for air conditioners, condensers, heat pump units, and emergency electrical generators with a second reading and adoption scheduled for May 5th, 2025.
Support?
Great. We have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion up here? Seeing none, could you do a roll call vote on that, please? In your order of life.
Councilmember Carter, Councilmember Janetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Krenz,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown,
Yes.
and Mayor Turnbull.
Yes, You have a new ordinance. Start enforcing that, Justin. Thank you very much.
We have a second reading, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, you can't
Well,
start.
get ready. Get
So stand
that
down,
free monitor
stand down.
first, so we're all ready for the second reading there. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so next we moved up. It's 9C. We are going to a closed door. There's no real reason to come back. We're just getting information. It is legal input on Open Northville versus the city of Northville and other attorney-client communications on that. So there's nothing coming back unless you want to hear from, all of us. So I will do before we leave. I thank many of you. Some of you were at the cleanup for McDonald Ford where the farmer's market was. We had 100 of us there about a week ago Saturday. It got paved last Thursday and Friday. We will have a farmer's market there a week from Thursday. It's because of all the input. Also, some people in here were cleaning up the cemetery and some of those stones on Saturday. It is phenomenal. If you go in at Oakwood, we're going to go through all 497 stones. We have a portion of those done and eventually wrought iron fencing around for our bicentennial. There's a lot of workers out there. We got trained. There's videos. There are going to be more and more training sessions. So I thank everybody for all they're doing in town. It's tremendous. We couldn't do this. We couldn't have opened and paved that without 100 volunteers at Farmers Market the other day. So it was quite something. So I thank all of you for that. I will spare you the rest of the hyperbole. So that is what I have. Anything else you want to say before we go to closed session?
No, we just said, like you said, 15 people on Saturday who
Yep.
came out and cleaned stones and
Yep.
learned how to do it. So it's outstanding.
It was great. I mean, just walk in there. You can see the difference. Just the pictures before and after. You couldn't read it. They were black. They were broken. They're repaired and whitened out. And it'll be a long-term deal. We're getting it ready. I mean, we're standing on the shoulders of those before us. And that is one of the oldest cemeteries with Revolutionary War veterans, Revolutionary and Civil War veterans. It's quite something. So a lot of work. And it's great to see young people, middle-aged people, okay, old people and older and stuff. So it was a great session for all of us in a little bit. So anything else? So with that, I'm looking for a motion that I think you have in your package to go to the closed door session that I will have you to do a roll call vote on. So do we have that motion forward? Or if you even want to read that, Tony, if you have it in front of you. Okay.
Well, I just wondered, is the way the motion is written, is there a motion? Is the motion only as under new business?
Correct. It's where it begins with I move is actually right in the agenda itself.
Yeah, I moved. So it's the last
yeah.
half.
Okay.
So it only talks about let's open Northville?
No, it says.
And attorney-client communications.
All
I
right,
think it says.
if you want, I can give it a shot. I think I know
Okay.
where to start.
All right.
Better rep than make.
Just wanna make
it
sure.
right.
I moved to
Okay.
enter closed session in accordance with section 8(1)(E) of the Open Meetings Act to consult the city's attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with the pending litigation. Let's Open Northville versus City of Northville, because an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on the city's litigating or settlement position, and pursuant to section 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act
Okay, I
to
see.
discuss an attorney-client privilege memorandum. Is that sufficient?
I think that handles both.
Yeah.
Yep.
I support.
So we have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion on this? I guess. Any comments from those in the audience? None. Seeing I dismissed them. Anybody online? Seeing those
Not at this time,
57
Mr.
are leaving. Okay. I close that. So if you could do a roll call vote on that, and you're going to go with us, and then we'll come back. Again, anybody online, anybody here, you're not going to miss anything. We're just going to come back and I'll gabble out because you've already heard what's going on. Go right ahead.
All right. Councilmember Krenz,
Yes.
Councilmember Janetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Carter, Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown,
Yes.
and Mayor Turnbull.
Yes. So I move that we will go to closed session. This goes to temporary. Yep.
We're done. with
Yep.
the third.
So we are looking for a motion to go in from closed session to open session. Do I have that motion on the table?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, if you could do a roll call vote on that, clerk, please.
Yes. Councilmember Janetti,
Yes.
Councilmember Carter, Councilmember Krantz,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown,
Yes.
Mayor Turnbull.
Yes. Great. We are back into open session for the public out there, the 50 or 100 people that are still waiting to hear us close in the whole bit. It's unbelievable. So with that, then tonight, we are just to closing statements. Let me get back to everything. We've done everything. Mayoral and council communications. We did most of that when we left. A lot going on, as I always do. Thank everybody for everything that's going on. The cemetery, the farmer's market, the Ford Field activities. It's unbelievable if you haven't been at some of these sometime, and the state of the community for all three, the school, the township, and the city. It's phenomenal, the amount of things that are going on, and it's because of the futurists right up here. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Any other comments out here?
Nope.
I have one.
Go right ahead.
This just follows. I want to thank staff who is not here for removing item 9B from our agenda. That was going from 9 to 7 planning commission members. And I just want to say that there was no information in the packet, but just for some background, it was asserted that it was uncommon for a city of our population size and land area being smaller to have a 9-member commission. And second, that having less members would streamline and make more efficient meetings. And just to say is that, with more information, that the majority of cities that are of our size within SEMCOG have 9-member commissions. And number one, members. And the other is looking back over the last 15 months of our planning commission meetings, there were only 17, 42% were canceled for lack of agenda item. Never been a meeting canceled, at least in the last 6 to 9 years, for lack of quorum. So that's not been an issue. And also, when I looked at of the 17 meetings, 9-member meetings had actually an average length of meeting less than when there were 8, 7, or 5 members there. Now, that's counterintuitive. You think less people, less talk, but that is not true. It is agenda driven. Our minimum and maximum meeting lengths when we had 9 members were 1 because it was only a tree permit. So it was really simple. It was less than an hour. The other was almost 4 hours, but it was when Hunter Pastor came in for their application. Both of those only had 1 item on the agenda, but they were so it's really agenda driven. So look to our, our city administration and also our chair of the planning commission to look to meeting management issues that they might want to deal with. But I just want to send the word out that our planning commission is they do a stand-up job.
Absolutely.
They show up, they're absolutely excellent, and their questions, discussion, and deliberation is just outstanding. So just want to get the message out that my expectation is, unless those conditions change, that we would never have to look at this issue again of reducing the number of planning commission members. That's it.
Great. Anybody else? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Seconded down there?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed?
Good night now.
We are done.